Excellent. We are a timely group, and people might continue to join us, and we will just let them in from the waiting room as we go on. Thanks to everyone for joining us and being a part of this conversation. I'm Destiny Barletta. I'm the Director of Alumni Connections for our team here at Wellesley Career Education, and I am joined by two colleagues, Dana Keep and Becky King, who are our alumni career advisors. And so all the people on this call know, alums, if you've engaged with career education very recently or maybe not in a while, we would love for all of you to know that career education at Wellesley is a lifetime service. So you have, as alums, access to all of the resources, one-on-one advising, cohort groups, programming, these kind of webinars throughout all of your career. And we have the privilege to work with alums from, their first destination when they graduate from Wellesley, all the way through conversations about kind of engaged retirement and encore careers and board service and all of the steps in between. So we are delighted that you have joined us. If you would like to continue to engage with career education services or maybe schedule an advising appointment or one-on-one conversation, all of that information can be found on our website, which is just Wellesley Career Education, and you'll see there's a tab for alums. We are delighted today to have Susan Wojewoda here with us. Susan is a member of the class of, oh, hold on, sorry. Susan's bio has left me. There we go, is a member of the class of 1996. So just like yesterday, basically. And she is a leader in the retail and consumer sector, and she's been doing this work for 20 years. She develops omni-channel strategies for brands including Lacoste, Ted Baker, Lilly Pulitzer, Keds. And in addition to these executive roles, she's been a sponsor and a mentor to colleagues, friends, Wellesley alums, as they navigate opportunities to build and grow their own personal brands and make career changes. She graduated with an MBA from Harvard Business School and was an American Studies major when she was at Wellesley. She spends time and enjoys partnering with organizations that support women and girls, including the Young Women's Leadership School in East Harlem and the Old Girls Club. And I will let Susan go ahead and take the lead to lead us through this LinkedIn toolbox.
Oh, okay.
If I could just jump in, if everyone could please mute yourselves. There's a lot of background echo otherwise for interrupting Susan. Sorry. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Destiny, for that introduction. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. It's a beautiful fall day in New York City. It's acting a little more like summer. I hope it's nice wherever you are. Wellesley is one of the richest components of my personal experience, and it's always a treat to reconnect with the Wellesley community, whether in person or on Zoom. It's been a few years since I've had the chance to partner with Career Services, and am delighted to be back to share some insights with all of you regarding LinkedIn. And I'm calling this the LinkedIn Toolbox. The goal is to share with you some strategies and tools that hopefully you will find beneficial in your career and networking pursuits. So welcome, and we'll get started. So before we dive into the presentation, I'd like to ask everybody on the call to think about your current LinkedIn proficiency. I imagine we have a range of skills and backgrounds here. So on a scale of 1 to 5, whether you're completely new to LinkedIn and don't have a profile currently, if you're somewhere in the middle using LinkedIn, but or set up on LinkedIn, but not actively using it, visiting the platform, but perhaps you aren't comfortable engaging or don't have a complete profile. Number 4, you're using tools available on LinkedIn, but your activity is minimum. or lastly, you're feeling good about LinkedIn, you're posting and sharing content and have a good understanding of the tools. So if you want to drop a number in the chat, I'm just curious for the makeup of the group. I'm seeing a lot of, I'm seeing some 4s. I'm seeing a comment that somebody set up her profile 5 years ago. She hasn't used it. Some 3s and a 2. So we've got a mix of skills and experiences here, which is great. And we will certainly, at the end of the presentation, open the conversation up to comments and questions, and look forward to hearing more about how all of you have leveraged LinkedIn. So as a bit of context, I just want to share where I was in the spring of 2023, about 6 months ago. I would say at that point, I had a level 3 to 4 proficiency on LinkedIn. I was using LinkedIn primarily in 2 ways. As somebody who needs to search for talent and hire talent, I was often scrolling LinkedIn to find viable candidates. I also, from time to time, was using LinkedIn to see what might be available for roles or opportunities for myself. But that was sort of the extent of what I was doing. I was liking posts, but I wasn't commenting. And I had a sub-optimized and frankly incomplete profile. And one of the biggest call outs for me was I had a 10-year-old profile picture. I liked the photo, but it didn't do a great job capturing the person I am today. So I definitely was in a position of not optimizing LinkedIn tools for connectivity and engagement. And through some connections with women who are members of the chief community, through conversations with a career coach that I leveraged, LinkedIn as a robust offering was really opened up to me. And I saw the vast power that LinkedIn has as a tool for networking, for connecting, for engaging as an industry professional, for job hunting. So my goal today is to share with you some of the helpful tips and tools that I acquired to make you more comfortable using the platform going forward. Just a bit of context. LinkedIn is the largest online professional network with over 870 million users worldwide. So a vast group of members. Its mission is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. Yet a very interesting statistic tells us that only 50% of users have complete profiles. So there is opportunity for many of us to maximize how we're using the tool. A couple of things that LinkedIn is not. It's not an online resume. Your resume is an important tool. You should be updating that, maintaining that separately. We'll talk about this more in the presentation, but the last thing you want to do is take your resume and copy and paste it onto LinkedIn. LinkedIn is designed to be much more dynamic and fluid. LinkedIn is not meant to be a set it and forget it platform. I think LinkedIn really comes alive and becomes interesting and useful when it's a series of multiple conversations, you posting content, others engaging, you reaching out for a connection, that person connecting back with you. And lastly, it's not one-dimensional. This is a dynamic tool. It's meant for engagement, for fluidity, and it's something that I'm ever changing and ever tweaking. I view it as sort of a living document for myself. So today we're going to focus on 2 particular components of LinkedIn. There's so much that we could talk about, but I wanted to focus in this conversation on helping everyone optimize their landing page. And I spoke just a few moments ago about where I was in the spring of 2023. I did not have an optimized landing page. And quite frankly, I didn't know some of the things I should be doing to optimize my landing page. Secondly, I'll offer some quick hit tips to enhance your searchability, your discoverability on LinkedIn. These were some learnings for me over the course of the last few months that I just have found valuable and have said to myself, gosh, I wish I knew that. So passing them along as some advice to everyone here. So we're going to jump into a conversation about the landing page. But again, I'll ask everyone in the group if you could drop into the chat what your primary LinkedIn goal is. We certainly have a diverse group of alums and students here. And do you feel LinkedIn can best help you increase your network? Or are you leveraging LinkedIn to connect with hiring managers and recruiters? Or do you view LinkedIn as a rich resource for content and you'd like to connect with others in your industry? So again, just dropping the 1, 2, or 3 into the conversation and pulling up the chat for myself. I'm seeing a whole mix of numbers, and somebody rightly called out she's here for all 3, which completely makes sense. So great. So a mix of everything, and hopefully this will speak to all of those needs. All right, so we're going to talk about the LinkedIn landing page, and I want to introduce to you what I call the LinkedIn Fab 4. These are 4 components of your profile that you should really prioritize, whether you're new to LinkedIn or you're an experienced user and have actively been engaging with others. So those 4 components are the banner, the profile picture, your personal headline, and the about section. It's been noted that recruiters and headhunters spend 6 seconds looking at a LinkedIn profile. These are the 4 components that are at the top of your landing page and which are going to jump out and help you stay memorable to them. Additionally, as we think about the increasing presence of AI technologies, these are the tools that AI is going to be searching and pulling from to capture information. So 4 components that definitely can set you apart. So first, talking about the banner. This is the real estate in the top right-hand corner of your landing page. You can see in the example here, Rachel has taken her banner, she's added a colorful graphic, and she's used the banner to tell us a little bit about herself. She's someone who enables people, ideas, and brands and businesses through procurement and supply chain excellence. So immediately we've gone to Rachel's page and we have a snapshot of who she is. So again, this banner is your point of differentiation. It's your chance to call out your industry, specific leadership roles that you've held, the type of business problem you solve, whether you're someone in technology, marketing, design. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, it offers social proof. It shows the larger community that you have authority, that you're somebody who is knowledgeable, interesting, informed, somebody that I or you may want to take a closer look at. With each of the components of the Fab 4, I'm going to highlight some examples of strengths and weaknesses within the components. And I don't want to say specific approaches are right or wrong, so I'll be terming these components as weaker or stronger. But within banners, starting out, don't leave it blank. It's amazing the number of banners that I don't see filled in. And that's really unfortunate because, again, it's your space. It's a chance to make a statement about who you are, what you do, use it. When I look at the woman on the left, I immediately say, gosh, tell me more. I want to know more. In the middle, we have this gorgeous landscape shot, and I certainly would love to be where this photo is, but it's a pretty photo. It doesn't add value to who this woman is as a professional, as a career leader. And the last example, quite honestly, I'm just not sure what this is. Again, it's a photo that's not telling us more about this individual. So focusing now on some winning banners. We have on the left a woman who runs her own business, and she leads with a strong statement. She powers growth through innovation, and she's inserted a complementary graphic that supports her professionalism and the feeling that she's a change agent. In the middle, we have Melissa, and she tells us directly what her business is. She offers consulting, MBC Consulting Solutions. And through that business, she offers strategic advice, product development expertise, and leadership strategy. And lastly, on the end, the woman has taken the opportunity to really showcase that she's a brand builder. And she's going to work with you or your organization to strengthen shareholder value, build evangelistic statements, and inspire loyalty. I love that these women, all in their own way, have found a way to make a powerful statement about who they are, what they're doing in their particular space. So moving on to the profile picture. LinkedIn research shows that having a recent photo makes your profile 14 times more likely to be viewed. And as stated previously, I've violated this best practice myself. It wasn't until a few months ago that I updated my profile picture. We should all be aspiring to post a photo that's no less than 2 years old, and we want to capture who we are today. That's why we're engaging with LinkedIn. Some tips for your profile picture. You want to be looking at the viewer. This is a chance to develop a preliminary connection. And guidelines do share that ideally your profile picture should be facing inwards. I don't think that's imperative, but studies say that an inward-facing photo is going to create more of a feeling of inclusivity. Use up the space of the profile bubble. Your head, the upper portion of your body should fill that space. And I think it's important to call out that you don't need a professional headshot. You certainly will see some on LinkedIn, but having a friend or a family member take a photo of you is perfectly fine. Find a neutral background in your home, at your office, find something that reflects who you are professionally, and have that person take a shot of you. And of course, you can always crowdsource with a couple of options and get feedback on your best photo before you post. So again, highlighting some weaker profile pictures. Starting on the left, we simply can't see this woman. It's a fun shot, but we'd have to scroll in to really see who she is. In the second example, the gentleman has chosen to wear his sunglasses, and this unfortunately just creates the feeling that we can't connect with him. It's a barrier to knowing who he is. In the third photo, I feel that the gentleman has a little scowl on his face. He perhaps looks a little angry. And I say to myself, do I want to work with you? Do I want you in my network? It's not a warm, inviting photo. And in the last picture, I'm left saying, what do you do? It's a fun picture of this woman alongside the Empire State Building, but it might be better served on her Instagram profile than on LinkedIn. And switching gears to some winning profile pictures. All three of these women have chosen to fill the photo bubble, which is great. The woman in the middle, I think, really has expressive eyes. When I see her picture, I feel like I'm connecting with her. She's connecting with me. All three of the women have warm, approachable smiles. And again, while these look like they may be professional headshots, it certainly isn't imperative. You could recreate these photos yourself. So the headline is the third component of our LinkedIn landing page. This should be a 2 to 3 line soundbite below your name. And it's really a mix of science and art. The science are the relevant keywords about what you do within your industry. Are you a product developer? Are you a copywriter? Are you a senior designer for a home textiles company? And then that combines with a little bit of art, a little bit of nuancing about what it is that makes what you do special, that flair that you add to your particular role. And, you know, this is who you are and what you do. But I want to caveat that if you are job hunting, it is absolutely fine to include an aspirational role or title. For example, maybe you're a marketing director today, you're looking for opportunities that would take you to that next level. It's absolutely fine to say VP marketing. And the reason that is that a particular statement is going to keyword optimize you for the role you want. As profiles are being searched by recruiters or AI tools, you will come up in that VP marketing search. And that's important. So a couple of weaker headlines. On the left, we have Daphne. She's given us only her job title. So that's fine, but there are many senior directors of media strategy, I'm sure, on LinkedIn. So we don't really know that much about her. Michael offers a little more information by telling us where he works. And then Laura doesn't give us the science, she gives us the art. This is a great statement, helping brands make faster, more informed decisions. But what does she really do? And she's certainly not going to appear in a keyword search for a particular job title. So at the end of the day, we're just not getting a lot of color as to who these individuals are. Some more winning headlines. On the upper left, we have Katie. Her science, her searchable keywords, she's a founder and a partner. The art of what she does is fostering innovation, developing business strategy, and driving growth. Raquel has inversed the two and leads with the art. She empowers business owners with a focus on growth. Her keywords are fractional COO, operations leader. And then lastly, Ashley. Strategic connector, activating vision, and unlocking revenue growth. She's a founder. She also wants to be searchable under COO and fractional COO. So these are a couple examples of how people have played with their actual roles, the science, and then infused some flair, some description to make themselves really come alive for the people who are viewing their profiles. Get into the About section. This is going to appear on your landing page before your experience, all of the job details. This is an opportunity to share your personal story. And it's the only chance that LinkedIn gives you to really bring that to life in a colorful way. You have 2,000 characters to work with, which in my experience lends itself to easily 4 or 5 paragraphs talking about who you are, what you do, your achievements, throwing in a little bit about who you are as an individual and what you do outside of work. This should not be a cut and paste from your resume. Once you get into the experience, the job details, that is where you could pull components from your resume. But this should be really about merging the professional with the personal. Research shows that information delivered in the form of a story is 22 times more memorable than just facts and reporting data. So this is your chance to be creative and colorful. We've already talked about not regurgitating your resume, and you certainly don't want to do that here. But I also think the About section allows people to see more of you than what's going to come across in your resume. It's that peek into who you are as a person. And you can be buttoned up here and professional to show that you're an outstanding leader without being boring or cliche. Have some fun with it. I recommend that the beginning and the end offer those colorful anecdotes. Bring yourself to life to your audience. You're telling a story. You want to build a connection. Speak in the first person so that your personality comes across. And include keywords, but stay clear of jargon. Speak to yourself as a marketer. Speak to yourself as a sales professional, but try not to get into the jargon of what you do every day. And then I always suggest at the end having a call to action, which might be as simple as, if you'd like to get in touch with me, here's my email, or I'm open to new connections via a DM. The middle section offers a great chance to highlight your professional impact. This is where you can dive deeper into some of the things that are really unique to your achievements, your skills. It's a great place to sprinkle in metrics, measurable results. What are the KPIs that you delivered? What were the metrics achieved? It's a great place to also talk about a key problem you solved for, a particular career win, or something memorable about a professional experience that might not be captured on a resume. You have a chance to be a little more conversational in your LinkedIn profile. This will be hard for you all to read on the screen, and I don't expect you to. We'll be sharing the presentation afterwards, but I really just wanted to highlight with this woman's About section how she's progressed through to introduce herself, highlight her talents, her strengths, her achievements, and how she closes in a way that invites people to connect with her. She has a super catchy intro. I love that she says, "Bring me an uncharted path with a dose of chaos and scrambled objectives, and I will lead the team over the finish line." I mean, that's just great. She's a doer. She's a shaker. She gets things done. I love that. Then we move into some recent achievements. She talks about her most recent role, calling out some of those metrics that we talked about on the preceding page: growth in revenue, growth in profit, number of new products launched. She progresses from there to additional metrics about previous experiences. Again, really showing that she's somebody who knows how to get things done. And then lastly, she throws in, to conclude, some nice personal anecdotes, which bring her to life as a person. She enjoys playing soccer with her son and loves eating sushi. She also tells us that she has skills that extend to e-commerce and creating rich digital experiences. And lastly, she closes by giving us a way to connect with her. So we've gone through the Fab Four, and I share this example of how to put it all together. This is Brianna, a woman that I'm friendly with, and I think she's done a great job with her landing page. Brianna has recently launched Cobalt Strategy Group. She created a banner that has her brand logo, captures her brand essence, communicates that her differentiator is unlocking a business's competitive edge through strategic innovation. She blends the science and the art within her headline. She's got those keywords in there that will make her searchable under key categories. But she tells us what it is she really does. She's a leader and advisor to retail and consumer products companies. And her about section is, again, about 4 paragraphs, hooking us in at the beginning, offering compelling details, and then a strong conclusion. So that takes us through the Fab Four. And I want to spend a few minutes, again, just offering some quick tips. These were learnings for me when I took a deeper dive into LinkedIn, and I hope they're helpful to you. I know we have a few people on the call who are here because they are using LinkedIn to connect with job opportunities and recruiters. LinkedIn has a banner that you can put on your profile picture that says you're open to work. You don't want to do this. It's a feature that LinkedIn promotes, but it is something to avoid. It feels a little desperate, and there are other ways that you can communicate that you're open to new opportunities. I saw a very compelling about section where the individual concluded by stating that she was open to inquiries about future professional opportunities. So a soft way for her to say, yeah, I'm interested, I'm looking. So I'm sure many of you know that LinkedIn has many algorithms that are used to determine what information is viewable to us, what others see about us. And I learned something with LinkedIn this year that was very valuable to me. To optimize your profile for LinkedIn, you want to be using the job titles that they make available to you in the experience section. They have many titles to choose from, but I've definitely been somebody who's had job titles that weren't always straightforward. So I was putting in my actual title, and it turns out that by stating I was the SVP of brand and digital divisions at Sunham Home Fashions, I wasn't searchable by the algorithms. I put some thought into what the best title would be for the role I played. I was driving P&L for business units, so I chose to state I was a senior vice president of sales in my title. And then I used my job description to highlight the true nature of my role, bringing out my work with brands, talking about launching the digital division for the team, fleshing out that color of my role. So in this case, tweaking the title a little bit makes me searchable. And then as the recruiter or whomever takes a closer look, they see the fuller nature of my role. So use LinkedIn's job titles. And then additionally, when filling out your experience, use the skills offered by LinkedIn to highlight the breadth and depth of what you can do. You're going to add your title, you're going to add a description about your role, and then LinkedIn's going to say, choose up to 5 skills. What are you known for? And this is pulled directly from my page, but you can see a mix of business and marketing strategy with organizational leadership. I've done some work in licensing. So optimize those skills because the algorithm's going to be looking for those. And wherever possible, repeat them across jobs. So if you've had a couple of roles and the through line has been social media marketing, make sure you're capturing that across the specific job titles and experiences. And I want to offer just a few thoughts on commenting. I shared earlier that I was somebody whose engagement on LinkedIn was largely about liking posts. I would often say congratulations if somebody spoke about a recent new job, but I wasn't going too deep. But really, LinkedIn at the end of the day is designed to help us build connections. It's a great way to demonstrate subject matter expertise and create exposure for ourselves. And what better way to do that than to use the comments? I recommend that you aim for at least a sentence. You might respond to a post from somebody in your network. This is really interesting. Can you tell me more about this? You've helped me think about this in a new way. Of course, it's completely fine to offer a counterpoint of view. I think some of the best LinkedIn dialogues happen when there's active discourse between the posters and the engagers. And then it's great to tag the content poster. You can see in the example on the right that Tallulah and Courtney tag each other. But you could also tag somebody who you think might appreciate the dialogue. Somebody in your network may find the conversation interesting and you want to insert them into the discussion. So again, use the commenting. It's a great way to engage with others, and it's actually a lot of fun once you get into it. So at the end of the day, LinkedIn is certainly a very powerful and robust tool, and we've really only scratched the surface today. And if you're somebody who's less familiar with LinkedIn, less comfortable with the tool, I challenge you to take 5 minutes today, take another 5 minutes tomorrow or next week to begin nuancing that landing page. Perhaps play with your banner first, or maybe you've got an easy profile photo that you can swap in. It doesn't have to be everything at once. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can add, change, delete that landing page, the components of that landing page in small segments, and it's all going to come together. I definitely tweak my landing page from time to time. It's not so much that things are changing about me professionally, but I just think of a better way of phrasing something. So I play with my heading or the about me. LinkedIn's a fluid document, or fluid tool, I should say, and you should feel free to nuance it. I want to share a couple of resources with everyone. These resources have been helpful to me, and you can find each individual on LinkedIn. Kevin D. Turner is a LinkedIn guru. His content is fantastic. He often will host a LinkedIn webinar for his followers. Kevin knows what LinkedIn is changing about its algorithms, shares his information with his followers freely. I always pick up helpful tips from him. Liam Darmody is actually a LinkedIn strategy consultant. Also somebody who's offering helpful tips and suggestions, sharing information that he's gained, but he does also work professionally as a LinkedIn strategy consultant. And then lastly, Lauren Greif, she is a job hunting coach and offers a 30-day immersion around various skills approaches to maximizing your job search. She's going to go a little more in depth on LinkedIn, but also talk to you about other components from networking to developing personal brand statements. And this 30-day immersion is a quick action way for individuals to get ready to embark on that job search component. So that's my formal presentation. I think we've got maybe 15 minutes or so left, and I'd love to take questions from the audience. You can drop comments in the chat, and Destiny will help me kind of monitor those, and we'll try to answer some questions for the group from the group. So please feel free to jump in.
Thank you so much, Susan. Someone is asking in terms of kind of admin, how can you access the recording of this session? And the answer is we will send an email, a follow-up email to everyone who registered at the email address that you registered at, and share a link to this. It will take us a couple of days, but we will do that. One of the questions that someone shared is, can you elaborate on the ways in which LinkedIn differs from one's kind of physical resume? She's been told in the past that LinkedIn should be like a living resume and include all information that your resume also has, such as like work, research experience, like all of the parts of your resume. And she's interested in your thoughts about that.
Yeah. So I love that you're using the term a living resume, because I do think of LinkedIn as a living, changing document that should be nuanced and updated regularly. I think of LinkedIn as the door opener for a conversation, whether that's a hiring manager, somebody who works at a company that you might want to work with or partner with down the road, somebody who you just find interesting and you'd like to connect with and network with. The components that we talked about today, particularly the header and the about me, are definitely going to be different from your resume. They should be catchier. They can offer a little flair that wouldn't come across in your resume. Once you build out your job experience, sure, absolutely bring over some of the content, some of the bullets from your resume, but I wouldn't lift those resume bullets directly. I think of the points within your experience section as being shorter, more concrete, zippier. LinkedIn's going to open the door. hopefully, if you're job hunting, there'll be a follow-up conversation. And then there can be a more detailed conversation where somebody likely has your resume and really can drill into some of the details. LinkedIn gives me a flavor for you and tells me, gee, I want to know more about you. And the resume dives into that on a much deeper level.
Another question, Leah is asking, if people have found, and what is your opinion, Susan, about LinkedIn Premium? Is it worth the cost? And she says, as someone who's in transition, she's minimizing kind of expenses, and it seems like she's getting decent traction on LinkedIn without kind of paying for the premium membership. And so she wonders if you have thoughts about LinkedIn Premium.
Yes. So I think you make a good point that good traction, strong traction can be made without the premium tools, and reaching out to form connections with individuals, accessing job postings, commenting on posts can all be done with LinkedIn's basic components. LinkedIn Premium does step up the level of offering to you. For example, you can access a larger set of profiles. You can see metrics about job postings, how many people have applied to a particular job. I think LinkedIn gives some comments about how you might rank within the pool of candidates. Certainly, it's an individual choice as to whether you feel premium will benefit you or not. Maybe it's something that you sign up for just 1 month and you go heavy into networking and building connections during that 30-day period, and then cancel it. It doesn't have to be a long-term investment.
Someone also asked a little earlier in the conversation, which I thought was really interesting, if you have kind of opinions about using emojis in your kind of a header, in your overall profile, versus like some of the samples you showed included like the vertical like kind of separation slashes between content, or emojis.
Yes. So what was a learning for me when I was updating my LinkedIn profile is I was using that vertical bar to space out different components of my header. I was clicking the button on my keyboard to create that bar. I was told by Kevin Turner, I participated in a workshop with him, that that does not allow the components of my header to be searchable, that I need to pull up the emoji screen on my keyboard and find that same bar there in order to create the same effect. That was a big aha moment for me, and immediately switched everything over. I don't know why LinkedIn favors the bar in that format, but that was definitely a learning for me. In terms of using emojis in your content, I think it comes down to personal choice. If you want to use a graphic to express an achievement, or perhaps you're commenting on somebody's recent success and you want to show the applause emoji, I think that's really up to you. Some people choose to use them a lot. I know for me, it's not really my personal style, so I've stayed away from them. But the tone of LinkedIn certainly isn't as serious as your resume. You should have fun with it. So if you'd like to sprinkle in some emojis, by all means.
Just making sure I didn't miss any questions.
I've included my personal email here, although you'll get this document after the presentation. Feel free to reach out if you have additional questions about LinkedIn. I'll also say that if you're somebody who has an interest in the retail and consumer space, happy to chat with you as well. So I'm available at my email.
As a final note, it might be worth just sharing a little bit of information about the Alumni Finder tool on LinkedIn, which can be very useful for us in the Wellesley network. So if you are on LinkedIn and you search for the college as its kind of institution, as its own page, so just search for Wellesley College. The college itself has like an official LinkedIn page. And when you find that page, there is about midway down the screen a bar. And in the bar, there are some options. And on the far right is alumni, which they spell with an I because it's all generalized. But if you click on that, it allows you to do a kind of sub search on LinkedIn for anyone who has indicated on their own profile publicly that Wellesley is in their educational section. And so it's all self-reported. And this information is not kind of being provided, obviously, by LinkedIn from the college. It's how people fill out their profile. But there are thousands and thousands of Wellesley alums on LinkedIn who have included Wellesley as their educational institution. And this Alumni Finder tool allows you to search by keyword, by location, by company. There are all different options, the combinations of these options. So for example, if I was looking for Wellesley alums who are curators, I could go to the college's page, go to alumni, and then that will pull up a kind of searchability, and I can search the keyword curator or curator Los Angeles, and it will match, it will show profiles of pages that match that criteria. So
Destiny,
like for example,
sorry, that's a great tip. And that's something I'm constantly posting in the Wellesley in the Workplace forum because people are always asking, does anyone work at XYZ company?
Yes.
Do you think it would be worth like doing a quick screen share and demo of how to walk through that functionality?
Yes. Give me just 1 second.
The other nuance I'd add to that suggestion is if folks are looking to reach out to Wellesley alums through LinkedIn and you're not connected, a workaround if you don't have premium is you can send a connection request with a note. And then I would typically include in the note something like, hi, I'm a fellow Wellesley alum in XYZ industry, would love to chat about your experience and blah, blah, blah. Please let me know if you'd have 20 minutes. And that's usually within the character limit.
The other thing we could do, Destiny, if it's hard to pull that up right now, is we could put a screenshot into my presentation, and when we send it out to everybody, to Rachel's point, they can see how to do that.
That's a great idea, and that way people will have a kind of screenshot to show that kind of in perpetuity, so you can continue to reference it going forward.
Yeah, no, that was a great call out. And I feel like I learn something new about LinkedIn anytime I engage with it. And that was definitely a great addition to my LinkedIn toolbox.
Yeah. So the Alumni Finder tool is kind of different function within LinkedIn than groups. And obviously groups also exist within LinkedIn, and different colleges, universities, kind of programs within colleges and universities, amongst other kinds of organizations, have groups within LinkedIn. And a kind of difference is, so like, for example, I think that the college does, like Wellesley College, there are some groups within LinkedIn via the Alumni Association. Again, none of these are kind of run by the college officially. They're all kind of alum-based, but those groups are a great resource. They are opt-in. The Alumni Finder tool is using an algorithm search. You do not have to, the only thing you do to like opt in is you list Wellesley as your educational institution. So it's much more encompassing than the kind of various alumni groups that exist. I mean, it's not an either or, it can be a both and, but, you know, kind of just know, like, if you're searching for information or connecting for a group on LinkedIn, you're going to be finding individuals who have opted in to join the group versus the Alumni Finder tool, which is everyone who lists Wellesley.
Great. So we'll include a screenshot of Alumni Finder in the presentation.
Great. Thank you so much, Susan. This has been really interesting, very actionable, very informative. I definitely learned some things as well. And we appreciate your time. And if anyone has particular questions for Susan, her email will be in the deck that we'll share with everyone. And as I mentioned earlier, if people want to reach out directly to Dana, Becky, or I to talk about their LinkedIn profile in particular, or anything else career related, that is very much what we are here for. And we would love to speak with any of you.
Great. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you joining, and hope that you leave here knowing a few more things about how to use LinkedIn. And always nice, again, to be with a Wellesley group. So wonderful to see all of you.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.